Number 20, Ted Kluszewski. With his trademark sleeveless jersey showing off his massive arms, he looked more like a linebacker than a first baseman. In the 1950s, Big Clue was a fan favorite, and for good reason. Between 1953 and 1956, he hit over 40 home runs 3 times and drove in 100 or more runs every season. In 1954 alone, he hit .326 with 49 home runs and just 35 strikeouts. An almost impossible balance of power and precision. He wasn't just strong, he was smart. Kluszewski understood the art of hitting as deeply as he understood his own power. Every at-bat felt like a test of wills, and most pitchers failed it. His ability to change the game with a single swing made him one of the Reds' first true power legends, a man whose name still echoes whenever fans talk about Cincinnati's golden hitters. Number 19, Jim Maloney. If you were a batter in the 1960s and saw Jim Maloney on the mound, you probably tightened your grip on the bat because you knew you were in for a long, uncomfortable day. Armed with a fastball that touched 99 miles per hour and a devastating curveball that dropped like a trapdoor, Maloney was the definition of power and precision. Between 1963 and 1969, he posted multiple 200 strikeout seasons, including an incredible 265 strikeouts in 1965. Proof that when Maloney was locked in, hitters had little chance. That same year, he threw 2 no-hitters, one officially recognized, and another that went 10 innings before he gave up a hit. Few pitchers in baseball history have ever been that close to perfection, twice in the same season. Though injuries eventually cut his career short, when he was on the mound, Maloney was pure dominance, the ace of his era, the kind of pitcher who made even elite hitters look ordinary. Number 18, Jose Rijo. In the late 1980s and early 90s, Jose Rijo was more than just the Reds' ace. He was their heartbeat. Every time he took the mound, there was a swagger, a confidence, a fire that told you the Reds had a chance to win. Rijo wasn't just talented, he was fearless. He attacked hitters, challenged legends, and never shied away from the big stage. That fearless attitude reached its peak in the 1990 World Series when he led Cincinnati to a shocking 4-game sweep over the powerhouse Oakland Athletics, a team loaded with stars like Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire. Rijo was nearly untouchable, allowing just 1 earned run in over 15 innings, earning World Series MVP honors and etching his name into baseball immortality. With his blazing fastball and devastating slider, Rijo became the ultimate big-game pitcher, the kind who didn't just survive pressure, but thrived in it. Number 17, George Foster. The Big Red Machine of the 1970s was loaded with talent. Bench, Morgan, Rose, Pérez. But right in the middle of that powerhouse lineup stood George Foster, one of the most feared sluggers of his generation. In 1977, he became the only player of the entire decade to hit 50 home runs, finishing the year with 52 homers and 149 RBIs. That season earned him the National League MVP award, cementing his status as one of baseball's elite power hitters. But Foster's greatness wasn't limited to one season. During the Reds' back-to-back World Series championships in 1975 and 1976, he played a vital role, driving in runs, delivering clutch hits, and providing the kind of intimidation that pitchers could feel before he even stepped in the box. With his explosive swing and quiet confidence, Foster became a symbol of Cincinnati's dominance. The muscle behind the Big Red Machine. Number 16, Epa Rixey. When Epa Rixey joined the Cincinnati Reds in the early 1920s, he didn't bring flash or fire. He brought dependability. Rixey wasn't the loudest or the most intimidating pitcher on the mound, but he was the kind every manager dreamed of, a steady arm who could take the ball every 4th day and deliver quality innings year after year. Over his long and consistent career, Rixey won 179 games for the Reds, including 4 seasons with 20 or more victories. His success didn't come from overpowering hitters. It came from precision, movement, and intelligence. He painted corners, mixed speeds, and forced weak contact long before analytics made that fashionable. By the time he retired, Rixey had 266 career wins, placing him among the most successful pitchers of his era. His quiet excellence finally earned its due when he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, ensuring his legacy would never fade. Number 15, Dave Concepcion. Before there was Ozzie Smith, there was Dave Concepcion, the original magician at shortstop. As the defensive anchor of the Big Red Machine, Concepcion brought flair, agility, and intelligence to a position that demands perfection. His lightning-fast reflexes and cannon arm turned routine grounders into outs and impossible plays into highlights. Over 19 seasons, all with the Reds, Concepcion became the gold standard for consistency, earning 9 straight All-Star selections and 5 Gold Gloves. But his value didn't end with his defense. He hit in clutch moments, stole bases when needed, and inspired teammates with his leadership and professionalism. He was the quiet heartbeat of a dynasty, the bridge between power, speed, and strategy. For Reds fans, Dave Concepcion isn't just remembered, he's revered. Number 14, Ed Roush. A century ago, before power-hitting ruled baseball, Ed Roush was the master of precision and poise. The Cincinnati Reds' first true superstar. From 1916 to 1926, Roush defined consistency at the plate. He didn't swing for the fences, he hit with purpose. Twice he led the National League in batting, with averages of .341 and .352. And every time he stepped into the box, pitchers knew they had to be perfect. In 1919, Roush helped lead the Reds to their first World Series championship, etching his name into baseball history. But he wasn't just a hitter. His cannon arm and defensive instincts in center field made him one of the most complete players of his generation. Even long after retiring, Roush remained the face of Cincinnati baseball, a living bridge between the game's early days and its modern era. Number 13, Dolph Luque. Before Latin American pitchers became household names in Major League Baseball, Dolph Luque was already blazing the path. Born in Havana, Cuba, Luque joined the Cincinnati Reds in 1918 and quickly proved he belonged among the best. In an era dominated by American-born players, Luque's talent and determination broke barriers and inspired generations to come. His 1923 season remains one of the finest pitching performances in franchise history. 27 wins, a 1.93 ERA, and 28 complete games. That year, he led the league in wins, ERA, and shutouts, earning the respect of teammates and opponents alike. He played with heart and defiance, representing not only the Reds but also an entire continent waiting for its chance to shine. By the time he left Cincinnati, Dolph Luque had become more than a great pitcher. He was a pioneer, a trailblazer, and one of the Reds' earliest international legends. Number 12, Heine Groh. Heine Groh was truly a player ahead of his time. Playing third base in the 1910s and early 1920s, Groh wasn't just another hitter, he was an innovator. His trademark bottle bat, with its thick handle and thin barrel, looked strange to most, but it gave him unmatched control at the plate. He could place the ball wherever he wanted, turning defense on its head long before analytics ever existed. Groh's sharp eye and precision earned him 2 National League on-base percentage titles, and he became the steady force behind the 1919 World Series champion Reds. While others chased home runs, Groh mastered the art of contact, timing, and smart baseball. He wasn't a slugger. He was a strategist, the kind of player who understood the game on a deeper level. His leadership and intelligence made him one of the quiet architects of Cincinnati's early success. Number 11, Bucky Walters. Before Shohei Ohtani made two-way players famous, Bucky Walters nearly did it, all the way back in the 1930s. He started his career as a third baseman, but when he switched to the mound, everything changed. Walters became the ace of the Cincinnati Reds in the late 1930s and early 1940s, a true workhorse in every sense. In 1939, he won 27 games, then followed it up with 22 more in 1940. a season that earned him the National League MVP award and helped lead the Reds to back-to-back pennants and a World Series championship. He dominated with precision and endurance, often pitching complete games and leading the league in innings, wins, and shutouts. Walters wasn't just a great Reds pitcher. He was one of the best pitchers of his entire generation. Number 10. Noodles Hahn. One of baseball's earliest strikeout artists, Noodles Hahn was the Cincinnati Reds' first true ace, a pioneer from the game's earliest days. Pitching in the dead ball era at the turn of the 20th century, Hahn dominated opponents with a mix of deceptive speed, pinpoint control, and ironclad endurance. He led the National League in strikeouts 3 times and won 130 games for Cincinnati before arm troubles ended his career far too soon. In 1901, Hahn etched his name into franchise history by throwing the first no-hitter ever for the Reds, a milestone that still echoes through time. He often pitched complete games under grueling conditions, refusing to back down no matter how tough the competition. Before Seaver, before Rijo, before any of the modern legends, Noodles Hahn stood as the Reds' original superstar on the mound. Number 9. Tony Pérez. If the Big Red Machine had a heartbeat, it was Tony Pérez. The emotional core and quiet leader of one of the greatest teams in baseball history. Playing both first and third base, Pérez earned a reputation as the ultimate clutch hitter, the kind of player who seemed born for the big moment. When the pressure rose and the game hung in the balance, Tony was the man every Reds fan and every teammate wanted at the plate. During the 1975 and 1976 World Series runs, Pérez's leadership and timely hits proved invaluable. His 2-run homer in Game 7 of the 1975 series changed everything, swinging the momentum and helping Cincinnati capture its first championship in 35 years. Across his career, Pérez racked up 1,652 RBIs, one of the most impressive totals in Reds history. But numbers only tell part of the story. His calm presence, unshakable confidence, and ability to inspire those around him made him the glue that held the Big Red Machine together. Number 8. Vada Pinson. Smooth, fast, and gifted. Vada Pinson was one of the most complete outfielders the Cincinnati Reds ever produced. From 1958 through the mid-1960s, Pinson blended blazing speed, line drive power, and pure consistency in a way few players of his era could. Year after year, he averaged over 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases, a rare combination back then. And by the end of his career, he had collected more than 2,700 hits, proof of his incredible durability and skill. Pinson wasn't the loudest or most showy player on the field, but that was the beauty of his game. He played hard, ran harder, and did everything with quiet excellence. His teammates respected him, and opposing pitchers feared him. For more than a decade, Vada Pinson represented the true definition of a 5-tool player, someone who could hit for power, run, throw, and field at an elite level. Number 7. Bid McPhee. In the 19th century, before baseball gloves were even common, there was Bid McPhee, a true pioneer of the game. McPhee played second base for the Cincinnati Reds from 1882 to 1899, and for most of his career, he fielded barehanded. Imagine catching screaming line drives and turning double plays without a glove, and still being considered one of the finest fielders of his era. Offensively, McPhee was just as valuable. He collected over 2,250 hits, stole nearly 570 bases, and brought intelligence and leadership to every game he played. Though he retired before the modern era began, his impact was undeniable. Finally, in 2000, more than a century after his debut, Bid McPhee was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, a long overdue honor for one of baseball's earliest greats. Number 6. Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan wasn't the biggest player on the field, but his impact was absolutely massive. As the engine of the Big Red Machine, Morgan was the definition of a complete player. He could hit for power, steal bases, turn double plays, and outthink opponents in every situation. His baseball IQ was unmatched. From 1975 to 1976, Morgan captured back-to-back National League MVP awards, leading Cincinnati to 2 straight World Series championships, the peak of Reds dominance. He combined discipline at the plate with fearless aggression on the bases, becoming one of the most dynamic players in MLB history. When fans talk about the greatest second baseman ever, not just in Cincinnati but in all of baseball, Joe Morgan's name is always near the top. Number 5. Frank Robinson. Before his legendary days with the Baltimore Orioles, Frank Robinson was already a superstar in Cincinnati and one of the fiercest competitors the Reds ever had. In 1956, Robinson burst onto the scene, winning Rookie of the Year after blasting 38 home runs, a record for rookies at the time. Just a few years later, in 1961, he claimed the National League MVP, leading the Reds all the way to the World Series. Robinson was the perfect mix of power, plate discipline, and fearless intensity. Pitchers didn't just respect him, they feared him. During his time in Cincinnati, he smashed 324 home runs, cementing himself as one of the most dominant hitters of his generation. But in 1965, the Reds made a decision that still haunts fans, trading Robinson away in what became one of the most infamous trades in baseball history. Even after he left, Robinson's legacy continued to shine back on Cincinnati, because that's where his Hall of Fame journey truly began. Number 4. Joey Votto. Few modern players have embodied the Cincinnati Reds quite like Joey Votto. Since his debut in 2007, Votto has been more than just a star. He's been the soul of the franchise. A perfectionist at the plate, Votto's elite discipline and understanding of the strike zone turned him into one of the most cerebral hitters of his generation. He captured the 2010 National League MVP, led the league in on-base percentage 7 times, and routinely ranked among the toughest hitters to strike out. Every at-bat was a battle, not just of skill, but of intellect. Votto was a rare mix of old-school grit and modern analytics, always studying, always adapting, always finding new ways to win. Through rebuilding years and playoff pushes alike, he's been Cincinnati's constant, a bridge between the Reds' storied past and their uncertain future. Number 3. Barry Larkin. When you think of Cincinnati Reds legends, Barry Larkin stands right near the top. Born and raised in Cincinnati, Larkin didn't just play for the Reds, he lived the dream of every hometown kid, spending his entire 19-year career in the uniform he grew up cheering for. He was the total package. A 12-time All-Star, 9-time Silver Slugger, 3-time Gold Glove winner, and the 1995 National League MVP. Larkin was the kind of shortstop who made everything look effortless, smooth on defense, reliable in big moments, and a natural leader whose teammates trusted him completely. He represented class, consistency, and loyalty, values that defined the Reds through their greatest eras. Do you think Barry Larkin is the greatest shortstop in Reds history, or does someone else come close? Number 2. Johnny Bench. Some say he's the greatest catcher to ever play the game, and it's hard to argue against that. Johnny Bench didn't just play catcher. He redefined what it meant to be one. In the 1970s, he was the Reds' anchor, a player who could throw out runners, call perfect games, and crush towering home runs, all with the same calm confidence. He won 10 Gold Gloves, 2 MVP awards, and helped lead the Reds to 2 World Series championships as the backbone of the Big Red Machine. With 389 home runs and 14 All-Star selections, Bench was both a defensive genius and an offensive force, a rare combination in any era. But it wasn't just the stats. It was his leadership, toughness, and unshakable composure that made him a legend. When Bench was behind the plate, everyone, pitchers, hitters, and fans, knew the Reds were in control. Number 1. Pete Rose. Love him or hate him, there's no denying one truth: Pete Rose is the Cincinnati Reds. Nicknamed the Hit King, Rose racked up 4,256 career hits, more than anyone in baseball history. And more than 3,000 of those came wearing a Reds uniform. He played every inning like it was his last, diving headfirst into bases, sprinting to first on walks, and outworking everyone on the field. His relentless hustle wasn't just a style, it was a standard. As the emotional leader of the Big Red Machine, Rose helped drive Cincinnati to 2 World Series championships and multiple pennants, becoming the spark that ignited one of baseball's greatest dynasties. Yes, his gambling scandal will forever shadow his legacy, but between the lines, his impact is unquestionable. Pete Rose wasn't just a player, he was the heartbeat, the identity, and the spirit of Cincinnati baseball. From the bare-handed brilliance of Bid McPhee to the iron will of Pete Rose, from Joe Morgan's intelligence to Johnny Bench's leadership, the Reds' history is a timeline of baseball greatness. These 20 men didn't just wear a uniform, they built a legacy that spans nearly 150 years. Generations come and go, but the spirit of the Cincinnati Reds lives through these legends. Each one a story, each one eternal. Before leaving, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.